Welcome back, everybody, to the Cleveland Cavaliers MyNBA series here on NBA2K21 for the PlayStation 5. As today, we have a lot to cover in this episode. Last time we played two games. We played one against the Hawks, in which Trae Young dropped 64 points, including a game-winning fadeaway three from the top of the key, and then we beat the Mavericks by 27. So quite the episode last time, but as I mentioned, we have a lot to do today. First off, we have a prospect profile, and then as you can probably tell by the title and the thumbnail, we are making a big roster move. So let's start with the prospect profile. This is, I guess, everybody's first introduction to the draft class. There is no clear number one pick at the moment, but this is a really good draft class. In today's prospect profile, we will be looking at point guards. I'm giving point guards their own separate episode because this draft class is loaded at the point guard position, specifically down the board towards like the later part of the first round. There are a ton of different talented guys. As we continue to play good basketball and likely make the playoffs, at least on the current trajectory that we're on, there's a good chance we will be picking in the late part of the first round. So there's a very good shot we could look at one of these talented point guards down the board. The first player we're going to be looking at today is Javion Carmen Jr. of Florida State. As I mentioned just a second ago, there's no clear number one pick in this class, but if I were to guess, as of right now, I think the number one pick would be Carmen. He is a sophomore, has shown tremendous improvement from his freshman season until now. Offensively, he's very gifted. He's phenomenal when it comes to scoring the basketball. He's a really good passer as well. There are some concerns with him for being an elite prospect. His athleticism isn't outstanding, and defensively, he's not great. So I think his offense is carrying him to this super high projection, and I think he's kind of comparable to Ja Morant, but without all of the athleticism. The second projected point guard in this class is Scooter Barnhouse out of the University of Kentucky. Some people think Barnhouse is better than Javion Carmen. I would say it's a healthy mix with the scouts around the league. But as of right now, I do think Carmen will go ahead of Barnhouse, although both of them are similar players. Scooter here is a freshman. He was one of the top players in last year's recruiting class and has backed up that ranking with excellent play. He's also a phenomenal scorer, and he's a really good passer as well. But his athleticism and his defense is a little bit of a concern. So Scooter Barnhouse and Javion Carmen, the top 2 point guards in this year's class, both very similar as prospects. Let's take a look down the board here. Some potential players the Cavs could target, including Valentine Taylor from IMG Academy. Of course, last year, the NBA destroyed the one-and-done rule, meaning that high schoolers can enter the league, and we've seen players like Odavius Shepherd go straight out of high school to the NBA and play just fine. Valentine Taylor is described as an offensive prodigy. He has great athleticism, great passer, and he's averaging a casual 34 points per game. He is very bad on defense, and there are too many sloppy plays, too many sloppy turnovers, but he does seem like a smart basketball player. It seems like he knows how to correct his mistakes. Now we head to Eugene, Oregon, where we take a look at freshman point guard Antonio Fleming. This is the younger brother of Westlake quarterback Keith Fleming, and like Keith, Antonio is a phenomenal passer. I wouldn't be surprised if Antonio Fleming here had some quarterback experience, at least like in Pee Wee football or whatever. He's a very good three-point shooter, but he's not a phenomenal scorer from inside the arc, particularly mid-range. He really struggles. He's also not a great defender, and that seems to be a constant with a lot of these point guards in this year's class. I promise there are some point guards who are good on defense who we'll be talking about in just a second. Let's take a look at a 4-year starter from the University of Illinois. Not only one of the top guards in the Big Ten for a number of seasons, but one of the top guards in the nation. That is Tanner Brunson. Brunson is a high IQ, crafty player who's really good at driving to the rim, excellent ball handling, excellent playmaker as well. He's averaging over 7 assists per game, which leads the Big Ten and is among the top in all of college basketball. He's not a great outside shooter, nor is he the biggest, the fastest, or the most athletic. And defensively, again, he's not that great, but I promise the last three guys we're going to talk about are all good on defense. The first one is Rocket Wolf from Prolific Prep, another high schooler. There are going to be more high schoolers in this year's class than last year's because I think a lot of the top high schoolers saw how the transition has gone for O'Davious Shepherd and figured that, hey, why not enter the NBA right now? Wolf is a very quick and explosive point guard. He's a very talented player, particularly on the offensive end of the floor. He's a very good playmaker. He's a solid scorer, and he has a good feel for the game. Defensively, he's okay. I mean, he's not as bad as some of the other point guards. He does grab 2 steals a game. His frame is a little bit concerning as well, and I don't know how much he'll be able to contribute early on, but I do think he is really solid. The last 2 point guards of the day are both very good on defense. The first one being Jason Higgins-Wycraft from the University of Virginia. Higgins-Wycraft came in this year as a freshman, not a super highly sought-after player in the recruiting class, but has certainly outplayed all expectations. He is elite size of a point guard position, 6'6", with a 7'2" wingspan. As I mentioned, he's a great perimeter defender. He's a good playmaker as well. As a scorer, he can be inconsistent. He's not a terrible scorer, but he does need to improve. And he's not the most athletic, which is a little bit unfortunate considering his incredible frame. The final player of the day is Kamani Cooper out of the University of Villanova. Cooper is a senior, the best perimeter defender in the draft, and projects to be one of the top perimeter defenders very early on in his NBA career. Cooper stands at 6'9", with a 6'11" wingspan, elite size, elite athleticism. He's very good as an inside scorer. Many question his passion for the game, and that could be a concern entering the NBA. And he still doesn't have the best feel for the game yet, even as a senior. So, some technical stuff to work out with him, but if he can develop him, he will be really good. So now it is time to talk about the current Cleveland Cavaliers team. Our Cavs are currently 17-10, which is actually second in the Eastern Conference, although there are a lot of teams in that range. So, I mean, for all we know, we could go on a bad losing streak and end up in like 6th place within the matter of around 2 weeks. Meanwhile, here is the West. Nothing too much to talk about. And then the stats. Everybody is still doing well. Obi Toppin's numbers have gone up a little bit since we last talked about the possibility of potentially trading him. And I still do kind of think that's a possibility. We'll get back to that in a second. First things first, I'm going to send Isaiah Thomas back down to the G League. He hasn't gotten a ton of NBA minutes since he was called up, and I think it's better for his progression that he just stays in the G League, gets consistent minutes, and then we call him up later in the season. So Obi Toppin's numbers have gone down quite a bit this year, and it's not that he's played poorly. His efficiency's actually gone up, but I just don't think he's a great fit offensively and defensively. I mean, he's not very good either, so I don't think he's a great fit on this team at the moment. Also, there are a few other players we could look at trading, as Cam Reddish and Kevin Porter Jr. are both free agents at the end of the season, and both of them provide very similar value to us, so I don't think it makes a lot of sense to bring both of them back. I think Reddish is the better player, but everybody enjoys me yelling Kevin Porter Jr.'s name every time he makes a big play, so that goes into consideration as well. So if I do want to trade Obi Toppin right now, I want to find a big man who is a good interior defender, who has enough versatility to play on the perimeter defensively, and is also young. There aren't a whole lot of options, but there are some guys who intrigue me a lot. A name who stood out is Onyeka Okongwu from the Washington Wizards. A-plus interior defense. He also has the athleticism to play on the perimeter. Good rebounder. He's athletic. His scoring numbers are not all that great, and he has not been much of an offensive threat 2.5 years into his NBA career, and I think a lot of people would consider him a bust. But the Wizards value him very highly because they know all he brings to the team, and the only way they're willing to trade him is if we give up O'Davious Shepherd, and obviously that's not going to happen. I tried to fiddle around with some proposed deals, maybe even a 3-team trade, but they just value him way too much, and I don't think it's going to work. So we settled on another trade, and it's a pretty big one. There's a lot to unpack here. A 3-team trade involving the Cavaliers, Trailblazers, and Raptors. So the Obi Toppin era has come to a close. He will be going to the Rip City. I think Obi Toppin's a really good player, but I just don't think he fits on this roster. Offensively, most of his job is to stand around in the corner and shoot threes, and although he is a good perimeter shooter, I think he can provide more, and I don't think he's doing that with us. Defensively, it's also worth noting that he's not very good. Jonas Valanciunas will also be going to Portland. The Valanciunas era in Cleveland is over after just 27 games. Cassius Winston will be going to Toronto. We needed a third team in this trade to make things work. And then we're going to be giving up a future first and 2 seconds to Portland. So who will we be getting back? The first player is 78 overall center, Okapi Adeoye. Adeoye is only 20 years old. He was just the second overall pick a couple of years ago, but he has been very frustrated with the Portland front office and wants out because he doesn't feel he's being used correctly, specifically on offense. Adeoye does not have the green light to shoot jump shots, specifically threes, and he's only started like 6 or 7 games in his NBA career, so he wanted to leave. Nasir Little will also be going to the Cavaliers. This is the exact type of player the Cavs wanted. Somebody who's really good on defense, who can play inside and on the perimeter. CJ McCollum is going to Toronto along with the Blazers' first-round pick this year. Dino Dixon, a talented young point guard, is going to the Trail Blazers. And Al Horford will also be going to the Blazers to make salary work. So the two sides would agree. We're giving up Toppin, Valanciunas, Winston, and draft picks for Okapi Adeoye and Nasir Little. The Blazers were actually very kind when it came to negotiating, but the Raptors were super stingy. So I'm happy we were able to get a deal done. The Blazers made a corresponding trade right after this, sending Jalen Smith to the Phoenix Suns in exchange for Saddiq Bey. The Suns need some more size, the Blazers need some more talent on the wings, and Smith and Bey are pretty much equal in talent, so that's a really good deal for both sides. But yeah, this is a very big deal for us. We're trading someone who's been on the team since the very start, and Obi Toppin, along with Valanciunas, but we're getting a 20-year-old center who was just the second overall pick 2 years ago. Okapi Adeoye has so much potential. He's very athletic. He's a great scorer, good interior defender, good rebounder. He really provides all that I want in a center. And Nasir Little is also the perfect fit on this team because I've been looking for high-level defenders. That's exactly what Nasir Little is. He can defend on the inside and on the perimeter. I will be simcasting the first game after the big trade here against the Orlando Magic. This is Okapi Adeoye's and Nasir Little's Cavalier debut, and we end up getting the win. 118-106. Cam Reddish with 21 and 10 in his first game as a starter. Reddish is starting now, although I am considering moving him back to the bench and having Nasir Little start because I think for where this team is, I think Nasir Little's a better fit as a starter. Okapi Adeoye had 6 assists along with 15 and 7. He's not some great passer, so I guess his 6 assists here are an anomaly. His career high in that category is 7. Odavius Shepherd with a double-double as well. So Adeoye has a lot of his shot tendencies, specifically his three-point tendencies at 0. I believe the Blazers were handcuffing his ability on offense, and the main reason why I wanted to get him is because I think we can truly unleash what he can do on the offensive end of the floor. So we're going to up those tendencies up so he can shoot more in the sim. We're going to play this game against the Philadelphia 76ers, who are a super interesting team. They traded Joel Embiid for James Harden in the offseason, but the big story has been the play of rookie center Voshon Williams-Garber. Williams-Garber's averaging around 24.5 points along with 12 rebounds per game, so he has been absolutely incredible. The Sixers also have Cedric Garrett's younger brother, Dwight Garrett. He hasn't really played yet. The craziest thing about how good Voshon Williams-Garber is he's not the favorite for Rookie of the Year, nor is Odavius Shepherd. They are second and third, respectively. It's actually Zario Papadopoulos of the Pistons who is first, with Voshon Williams-Garber in second, and our very own Odavius Shepherd in third. Williams-Garber is also fifth in Defensive Player of the Year, so I mean, for a rookie, this guy looks like one of the best centers in the NBA, and although the Sixers have not been winning a ton of games this year, I'm sure they are happy they traded away Joel Embiid, so they were able to slide him in at the center position. Let's get this one underway. The second game as a Cavalier for Okapi Adeoye and Nasir Little, so keep that in mind. Adeoye is starting for us at the center position. Cam Reddish will remain the starting small forward with Cedric Garrett at the 4. But as I mentioned, I think Nasir Little is better fit for the starting lineup because we have a lot of good scorers in the lineup and we need more scorers on the bench, which is what Cam Reddish's specialty is. So I think maybe for the future, we might have Nasir Little as the starting power forward, move Garrett back to the 3, and have Cam Reddish as the sixth man again. So just something to think about. Quick bucket there for Okapiadiye, absolutely muscling down on the rookie out of Oregon, Voshawn Williams-Garber. As there's James Harden for three. Cavs up by one. The score is 4-3. As here is Tre Jones off the screen. He gives up a prayer, and it's no good. But the putback is good from Voshawn Williams-Garber. 12-7 now. Ben Simmons' pass is intercepted by Kevin Porter Jr. And here's Okapiadiye from three. He has not attempted a three in his NBA career until now. He can shoot the ball. It's just that Portland didn't let him. 15-7 now. What a lob from Tre Jones over to Voshawn Williams-Garber. Williams-Garber with a good start to the game today. There's Colin Sexton driving inside for the dunk. Sexton with an early 6 points as the Cavs are leading 19-11. Look at Voshawn Williams-Garber. He's never attempted a three in his career until today and drills it. So Okapiadiye and Voshawn Williams-Garber both make their first NBA threes today. That's kind of wild. Kevin Porter Jr. misses the shot, but Nasir Little is there with the rebound of the putback. I'm very excited to see what he can do as a glue guy. Williams-Garber is blocked by Yusuf Diafafafobo. Cavs here on the fast break. Diafafafobo loses it, gets it back, turns around and gets the layup. Diafafafobo has a lot to prove. It really looks like he'd be the long-term center for a while, but now with Adiyoy coming in, maybe not. Shake Milton with the layup, 16-23 now as Big Fafa muscling down. That's a mismatch. Shake Milton cannot contain him. Here comes Lou Dort trying to drive in for the layup. He is no good, but another putback for Voshawn Williams-Garber. 27-20, Colin Sexton dribbling out the clock and to take a step back three. His shot is no good. That'll do it for the first quarter, 27-20. Cavs lead. As these two teams, keep in mind, they have a lot of history. They obviously made a big trade last year on draft night. The Cavs moved up from 4-2 to draft O'Davious Shepherd. The Sixers with pick 4 ended up picking Williams-Garber. That trade certainly a win-win for both sides. James Harden with an early three, 26-33. Garrett with the and one. Harden is called for the foul. Excellent bucket there by Garrett. 26-36. Now the pass is tipped by Shepherd, but Tre Jones makes a nice recovery and will put it back. 36-28. Look at killer Cam Reddish posterizing his former college teammate Tre Jones. A nasty slam there by Reddish. 38-28 now. James Harden trying to drive inside. Nice defense by Okapiadiye. However, Voshawn Williams-Garber is there for yet another putback. Williams-Garber continues to be impressive. 38-30. O'Davious Shepherd with a beautiful slam, the rookie out of Ode High School in Seattle, Washington, as Ben Simmons drives inside for the dunk, his first bucket of the night. Ben Simmons does not provide any value from the perimeter, but, I mean, he can drive to the hole and make plays. 36-42, it's Svi Mikhailuk, former Kansas Jayhawk from beyond the arc. 39-42, Adiye misses the shot, however, Big Fafa is there for the putback. Yusuf Diafafafobo has been very impressive here in this first half. I would go as far to say he's outplayed Okapiadiye. There's Shake Milton with the shake and bake. 46-42, under a minute to go in the half. Adiyoy passes it out for O'Davious Shepherd, who makes the fadeaway three. Cavs up by 7 with under 30 seconds to go. As here is Lou Dort from beyond the arc, cutting the lead back down to 4. 45-49. Cavs holding it for the last shot. Adiyoy loses it. That's Williams-Garber who steals it and misses the half-court shot. That'll do it for the first half. 49-45 is your score. Cavs on top. A busy first half for the rookie Voshawn Williams-Garber. He is 18-6. He's actually been in the entire game and has taken a lot of shots, so I guess that's probably why he has that good of a stat line. On to the second half. The Sixers have Williams-Garber bringing out the ball, even though they have James Harden, Ben Simmons, and Tre Jones who can do that. As Harden lobs it up for Voshawn Williams-Garber, who makes a nice cut inside. 47-49 now. Garrett with it. He's going to pass it out for Killer Cam Reddish. From beyond the arc, the Philadelphia native makes the three. 47-54 now. Here is Voshawn Williams-Garber having trouble with it. Heaves it up and it goes off the glass. Hot start to this second half for Williams-Garber. He now has 22. 49-55, Williams-Garber with an incredible play, out-muscling his fellow rookie O'Davious Shepherd. 51-59, Williams-Garber passes it out for Ben Simmons inside for the slam, as it is now 53-61. Cleveland here on the fast break. Here comes Cedric Garrett with a nice layup, bringing the lead up to 10, as it is now 53-63. Sexton with the step back, and he makes the three. Nice shot there for Sexton, and the Cavaliers all of a sudden lead this game by 13. 53-66, as there's Ben Simmons with the tough and one. Nice pass from Matisse Thybulle. That's Reddish called for the foul. 59-71 now. Nobody is inside to defend Lou Dort as he gets the short shot to go in. 10-point lead again as here's Kevin Porter Jr. No good. However, Yusuf Diafafafobo, Big Fafa, is there for the putback. 63-75. Here's Colin Sexton inside for Garrett. Excellent ball movement. That's what she said on that possession for the Cavs. 63-77. Milton is blocked by Yusuf Diafafafobo. Nasir Little was in the area as well. And there goes Cedric Garrett going upstairs where Grandma hides the cookies. Cavs up by 16 now. 76ers hoping for a last-second shot as it's no good from Shake Milton. A dominant third quarter on both sides of the floor for the Cavs. They lead this one by 16 points as it is 63-79. Philly has to start the fourth quarter off hot, and they do just that. An early three for Trey Jones. Harden lobs it up for Williams-Garber, no good. Misses his putback attempt, and then annihilates Cedric Garrett. What a poster by Voshawn Williams-Garber. Cedric Garrett does not know what just happened. 71-81, about 6 minutes to go. Wide open inside for another dunk. It's Voshawn Williams-Garber. He's red hot. 73-81, this time on the layup. It's Voshawn Williams-Garber, who is just continuing to dominate this game. 75-81, Trey Jones passes it out for VWG. Williams-Garber in the post, dominating Okapi Adioye as he makes the layup. 77-84, good start to this quarter for Philadelphia. Cavs need a bucket, and they get just that here. A huge three in the corner from a rookie, Odavius Shepherd. 77-87, it's an and one for Okapi Adioye. Kind of a rough second half for Adioye, but he gets a huge basket there. Williams-Garber called for the foul as Adioye misses the free throw. 77-89, the lob attempt is failed. Nice pass over to Cedric Garrett, who is no good. However, he gets the rebound over Harden and will make the layup. 77-91. The Sixers need a miracle comeback here as Harden inside for Ben Simmons, who will make the layup. 76ers playing press defense as Odavius Shepherd darts by Harden inside for the layup, despite nice defense by Thaddeus Young. Quiet game for Young, as it's now 79-93. Simmons inside for James Harden. No good, but you know who's going to be in there to get the putback. It's Voshawn Williams-Garber. 81-93, more press defense. The Sixers aren't fouling as there's Shepherd inside for the slam. Huge dunk for Odavius Shepherd as it's now a 14-point lead for the Cavs. Big three there for Harden. The Sixers needed it as the Cavaliers would call time. Sixers now in the fast break. 84-95 your scores. Here's James Harden inside for the layup, cutting the lead down to 9 with under a minute to go. This game still is not over. Harden now, line 2 is good, and the Sixers are now only down by 7. An incredible comeback these past couple of minutes, but will it be enough? Here's Shepherd inside. Tough defense by Jones, but it goes in anyway. And it looks like the Cavs have this game won. 93-98, it's stolen by Harden. Not so fast, Cleveland. James Harden inside for the slam, and it is a one-score game all of a sudden. 95-98. Can someone please explain to me why Odavius Shepherd is the only Cavalier starter in the game? The other players out there are Anechi Onia, Keelan Ofeler, who does not get minutes, Taco Fall, who does not get minutes, and Yusuf Diafafafobo. Very odd group on the floor. Shepherd does go 2 for 2 from the line, 95-100 now. Harden's three is no good. A huge stop there for Cleveland, and Philly is forced to foul. Big Fafa misses both free throws. 76ers trying for another quick basket. Harden again from deep. No good. One last putback, though, for Voshawn Williams-Garber as it's now 97-100. And Odavius Shepherd is fouled All Shepard really has to do is make one free throw as he misses the first one. This game is not over, folks. Shepard's second free throw is good. All the Cavs cannot do here is foul, and they'll be fine. Harden heaves it up from full court, and it's no good. Wouldn't have mattered anyway, as the Cleveland Cavaliers win a nail-biter, 101-97. The Sixers with a valiant effort at the end. The Sixers scored like 20 points in the final 2 minutes. So they certainly gave it all they could at the end of that game, but it was not enough. And the Cavs get the win. I don't know why the game thought it was a good idea to put bench players in a one-score game with 15 seconds left, but whatever. Odavius Shepard with a big fourth quarter. He finished with 24 points, leading the way. Sexton, Reddish, Garrett, and Adeoye all in the double figures. We only shot 5 for 20 from deep. We did not do well from beyond the arc. And Okapi Adeoye specifically was not very efficient. He went 5 for 16 from the field and 1 for 6 from deep. Adeoye has never attempted an NBA 3 before this game, and he attempted 6. So maybe we let the handcuffs off a little bit too loosely, but it's good to see him taking threes even if they're not quite going in yet. He does have a C+3 rating, so it's not like he can't shoot. Voshawn Williams-Garber with 39 and 15. He was very good, to say the least. Only 17 points for James Harden. He wasn't very efficient. Ben Simmons only took 5 shots, making all 5 of them. He finished with 11. Nobody else really stood out. Thaddeus Young did have 10 rebounds, but some of their bench scores like Mikhailuk, Dort, Milton, none of them really did a whole lot in this game. So a little bit too close for comfort at the end, but still a good win here for our Cavaliers. We're going to simulate these next 4 games. The next team I wanted to play was the Rockets, who were the other side of the big James Harden, Joel Embiid trade in the offseason. The Rockets are doing a little bit better than the Sixers, even though the roster is way worse. So as we simulate these next 4 games, something to keep an eye on is how Okapi Adeoye shoots the ball, particularly from deep. But I really want to see how he does on offense, because obviously we're using his new tendencies. And we didn't do very well in these 4 games. We went 1-3. We needed a come-from-behind victory against the Magic to not have a 4-game losing streak. And Adeoye didn't do very well. In the Brooklyn game, he went 2 for 9 from the field, 0 for 3 from deep. Against Chicago, 2 for 7 from the field, no threes. Against the Knicks, 1 for 10 from the field and 0 for 3 from 3. And then the Magic, a little bit better, 7 for 13 from the field, 0 for 2 from deep. So in these 4 games, Adeoye went 0 for 8 from beyond the arc. He didn't even shoot well from inside the arc, so that's a little bit concerning, but he's only played 6 games with us. I'm willing to give him time, and I'm very excited. Him, along with Nasir Little, are now on the team. Hope everybody enjoyed. Well, let me know what you think of the trade in the comments below, as well as the prospect profiles, and as always, have a good one. Peace.